Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm the Tiny Vegan, and in today's video we're doing a high iron vegan what I eat in a day. Before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss another video, because I do so much vegan content. It is all vegan lifestyle, vegan food hauls, what I eat in a day, vegan nutrition, all that kind of stuff. If that's what you're interested in, don't forget to subscribe. So if you don't already know, I did a video on my blood tests. And when I got my blood test back, although it came through as all clear, I was actually low in iron, as in very close to being anemic. So I've been really trying to focus on iron in my meals. So I'm basically trying to make sure that in every single meal I'm getting at least like 1 or 2 sources of iron. So today's video will be just what I eat in a day, but obviously it'll be slightly different from the ones that I've done before, because it'll be including high iron meals. To start off with, for breakfast we're going to have porridge. So we're going to use these Simply Porridge oats, which are like the Lidl own brand ones. If you wanted to boost up your iron in this meal even more, then you can get oats which are fortified with iron. These aren't, these are just whole grain oats, but oats naturally do contain some iron, so there is some in there. We're then gonna mix in some cacao powder. This is 100% cacao powder, and you just get it from Morrison's, like it's not that expensive. And cacao, something like 7.3 milligrams of iron per 100 grams, whereas I think beef and lamb only have like 2.3 or something, so it's a lot higher than most. So if you just mix some of this into your porridge, it makes it quite chocolatey as well. But I'm trying to not eat a lot of sugar at the moment, so I'm trying to not add sugar to anything. Obviously I'm having fruit and stuff, so I'm not going to add any sugar. Usually I put golden syrup in there because this can make it quite bitter because it's not like chocolate, but I'm just gonna have to bear with it because I mean that's why I'm gonna stew some berries. That might sweeten it a little bit, but some of those are quite tart as well. But yeah, if you like sweet things, add like golden syrup or sugar or something. I'm just trying to avoid it at the moment. Then we're gonna put chia seeds in there because they are actually really rich in iron as well. So 1 portion of chia seeds is actually 12% of your recommended daily intake of iron. So this and this combined is a really good iron-rich breakfast, and especially if you're anemic, it can give you a really good start to the day, as well as having complex carbohydrates and some protein as well. So I mean, another way you can both boost the protein up, if that's something you're looking at, is you can actually put silken tofu in porridge. That might sound gross, or you can use protein powder or something, but because silken tofu is so versatile, it will literally go in anything. So we're doing a whole cup of rolled oats because my boyfriend's going to have some as well, and then I always double the milk to the porridge ratio. Then we're going to add in a little bit less than a tablespoon because, like I said, cacao is very bitter, so like you will be able to taste that. It's nice if you put sugar or something in it, but as I'm not having the sugar, it's just going to be bitter. So then we're going to add in chia seeds. So I'm going to do 2 tablespoons because that is a serving. I'm just going to put it all in there, that's not much. And these you can get really cheap from Aldi as well. So if you're looking chia seeds, if you get them from anywhere like Morrison's or Tesco's or anything, they're really expensive. So then you heat that on a really low heat so it cooks slowly. Usually I add a banana in this, but I plan on having a big green smoothie later, and I always use a banana in that, so I don't really want to have 2 bananas. Then while that's cooking, we're going to stew off some berries. So usually if I'm making porridge, I stew my berries, but I always stew them in golden syrup. But as I said, I'm not eating the sugar, so I'm just going to stew them in a bit of water. So I think we'll do all of those. And then if they start to stick, add a little bit of water. And also the chia seeds, you may need to add more water than you would in normal porridge if you add chia seeds, because chia seeds absorb a lot of water, so it might make it a little bit thicker. So while that's cooking, I wanted to talk to you about heme versus non-heme iron. So a common misconception about veganism is that you can't actually take in the iron and absorb the iron from plant-based sources, which is a lie. While you can absorb the iron from plant-based sources, which is non-heme iron. Heme iron is from animal sources because it comes from the hemoglobin, which is like the blood cells. That's what heme iron is. It basically comes from blood, and that is obviously a non-vegan, non-vegetarian source of iron. There are so many different sources of vegan, vegetarian iron, like pulses, oats, dried fruits, some nuts, chia seeds, cacao powder, so many different sources of iron, but it is a non-heme iron, so it is less readily available, and it means that it's more important that when you have vegan or vegetarian sources of iron that you pair it with vitamin C, because vitamin C aids the absorption of iron, especially non-heme iron. Think kiwis, oranges, lemons, limes, anything citrusy full of vitamin C. that is great to pair with a non-heme source of iron. So you definitely can absorb it, you just do absorb less. So it means that your body actually can't absorb all the iron that you're taking in. So if you say, okay, I'm having 100% of my recommended daily allowance of iron, you actually, if it's non-heme, you probably won't absorb 100%, you will absorb less. So making sure that you're getting enough iron so that when you don't absorb it all, you're still getting the recommended daily allowance. And if you're interested in this kind of nutrition and you want to learn more about different supplements and things, I do have a video on supplements and the supplements that I take, and I explain a little bit more in that video about the supplementation for calcium and vitamin D and vitamin B12. So if you want to see that, I'll leave it on the screen for you to go and check out. And if you want to see more videos on like vegan nutrition, let me know, because I love nutrition. I've done a advanced level 5 diploma in it, and I'm hopefully going to university in September to study it. So yeah, just hit me up if that's what the kind of video that you want to see, because I'll be sure to make that for you. So this is my porridge. It's been cooking slowly for about 5 minutes, maybe 7 minutes. It's always better to cook your porridge slowly over a period of time as opposed to like heating it really fast. So if you like a bit more of a runny porridge, which we kind of do, this is a good consistency. And now will be the time to add sugar or syrup or anything so that it sort of melts in. And then those are the stewed berries. They're done. They literally just stew down to nothing. So it's going to be the most sparse portion, but that was all we had left. I've had my breakfast and now I'm going to have a snack. So I've got a little pot of nuts and a pot of dried pears, because if you don't know, some nuts, most nuts, contain iron. It just might not be in massive amounts, and a lot of dried fruit also contains iron. These may not look the most appetizing. They are dried pears. They look really gross. They just look like wrinkly little pears, but they're really good. They genuinely taste like custard. They're really nice as a sweet treat, I always find, because I'm trying to not eat as much sugar. I find that having things like dried fruit and nuts are quite filling. I know it's not quite the same as having chocolate, but sometimes it works as a substitution. So I'm going to eat these and my little pot of nuts, and then I'll see you for lunch. So for my lunch, I'm having a green smoothie. This is kiwi. I left the skin on. It's just extra fibre and I couldn't bother to peel it. Then we've got banana, some mixed seeds. So this is flax, sunflower, pumpkin. I think it might even have some chia and some hemp seeds. Then we have 2 ice cubes, a ball of frozen spinach, because I tend to buy spinach, as I said in my last haul video, just because frozen spinach just doesn't go off. And then I've got a banana and some orange. So the orange and the kiwi are both citrus fruits, so they're really good if you're having a green smoothie. If you're having kale and spinach smoothie or anything like that, any leafy greens which are high in iron, pair it with some citrusy fruits like a kiwi or an orange for the vitamin C. And then I'm just going to add water. What works really well with the smoothie is if you use pineapple juice, like not from concentrate, the one without any sugar in it or anything, or you can use coconut water, but I can't afford coconut water, but that works really well in here because it kind of makes it more tropical. I don't have either of those, so I'm just going to put some water in to make it like a nice smoothie consistency. I also forgot to add in some dates. So the nicest thing to use is medjool dates because they're really caramelly, but they're very expensive. So I've just added in 4 pitted dates as well because that gives it extra sweetness. And that's my lunch. So now it's quite a lot later. It's about 7:30. I've had a change of clothes because when it's so hot, and as you can probably see I'm sweating like I was in the last video, when it's like that hot, I just want to get changed. Do you know what I mean? Like I can't stay in the same lot of clothes. We are just about to make dinner. So I was thinking tonight a lentil ragu. I haven't actually made a lentil ragu before. I've obviously had it before, I've just never made it. Usually I do other things with lentils, like I make curries, like sweet potato and red lentil curries are my favourite, or curried soup, and I always put lentils in that and stuff because you literally can't tell they're there, but they're extra protein, extra iron, extra nutrients. Lentils and all the pulses, if I haven't already said before, have really high in iron, so they are really good to try and get in whenever you can. So I am going to make a lentil ragu and I'm gonna film the process. Whether it'll go well, I don't know. Whether it'll be nice, I don't know. I tend to like look at a recipe and then do my own thing anyway. Sorry about the funky camera angle, but I've just put my kettle on to boil because that will be for my stock and for my pasta. That's the pan for my pasta, and this is my wok, because if you've seen any of my previous videos you'll know that I literally cook everything in a wok. I'm just heating this oil, so I'll pop in my onions. When that's fried for a bit, then I'll add my garlic. So this is the whole wheat spaghetti that we're going to be using. This is the Aldi own brand one. So we're going to leave that onion to fry for a little bit. I always, as the basis of my pasta sauces, when they're like a tomatoey based pasta, I always use smoked paprika. So the one we're using now is the Sainsbury's one. I just use onion granules and garlic granules. Then I use chili flakes, but I can't go with anything being too spicy, so it's only mild. Then we always use oregano and mixed herbs. And then for this recipe, the one that I looked up, it's just the BBC one. It says that it wants a bay leaf and also dried thyme, which I've never put in a pasta dish before. I'm going to be using just the Tesco cheap chopped tomatoes, this little tomato puree, and we've got a chopped carrot, 2 chopped carrots, and some cloves of garlic and some red dried lentils. This meal is so cheap. I mean, most of these herbs and spices you probably have in your cupboard, and if you don't have them in your cupboard, you can probably miss them out. You know, they're probably not that important. First, to fry off those spices. Then we will add our garlic. So now I'm going to add in my carrot, make sure it's coated in the spices. So now those are fried off for a couple of minutes, I am going to add in my chopped tomatoes, tomato puree. I always, in my pasta sauces, add vinegar. So if you haven't already seen my 3 cheap, easy vegan meal videos, which is one of the first videos I did actually, I do my pasta sauce recipe, and genuinely, if you are making anything, pasta, like a tomato pasta sauce based, this recipe is absolutely phenomenal. It's just such a good recipe, and it makes the base of all the dishes so nice. That's bubbling away, so I'll turn that down. My kettle's just boiled, so I'm going to make up some stock. But before I do that, these are my lentils, just dried red lentils. If it takes too much time and you find it just too time consuming to cook the lentils, you know, because obviously the lentils are why this dish takes a little bit longer, you can buy canned lentils, which are honestly just as good, and they're definitely worth it. Although you do definitely pay more, because a can is like one use, and that costs about 90p, maybe 80p. But then if you bought a big bag, then you buy a big bag for the same price, and that would use like for 4 or 5 different uses. Pour in my stock. This is about 400 something ml of stock, and I'm going to also stir through my lentils. Then I will add in 1 bay leaf. I might do 1 in a bit because that's only a diddly one. Some thyme and a little bit of oregano and mixed herbs. So we're about 15, 20, maybe a bit longer minutes in, and as you can see, it's starting to thicken up nicely. So we just wait until that liquid is all dissolved, because it's still a little bit too runny. So it's now quite nice and thick. It's getting there anyway. So I'm going to leave it another 10 minutes, and then while that's thickening up, I'm going to make my pasta. So I've just boiled my kettle, add in our pasta. Then we're going to turn the heat on and add some salt. I'm really sorry guys, I completely forgot to film the end of me making that meal. So I obviously made my lentil ragu. It took about maybe 45 minutes to make, because the lentils had to cook through because they were dried. If they were canned, it would take a lot quicker. Then I cooked up some whole wheat spaghetti, as I showed you that I was going to do, and I also cooked up some broccoli to have by the side, because broccoli is also naturally quite high in iron. So I will insert a picture of my meal. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss another upload from me. I hope you all have a lovely week, and I'll see you in the next one. Let's all fly together, and I will show you a place you